Welcome to the Tommy Sandhu podcast, and this one is with Amarjot and Jeevan. They are presidents of the Punjabi Society at Imperial College in London. Now, we've got them on because the Bhangra Showdown is going down. It's a massive Bhangra dance event. And if you've ever seen any of these kind of Bhangra dance troupes online, if you see all the kind of, if you're like me and you put the YouTube clips on and you just play the little dance videos of youngsters busting their moves to Punjabi music, then no doubt you'll see a video by the Bhangra Showdown. You might even have seen how big this event is in America and in Canada. They do their own versions of it as well. But I'm really proud of these guys because putting on the event isn't easy. They're flying the flag for the music, for the culture. They're doing it because they love it. And it's a big show that's going down on the 13th of February. So it's all happening at the Troxy, which is a venue in East London. I'll be there hosting the event and I can't wait. And there'll be some brilliant performers on the night as well. But you'll hear all of that right now in our chat with Amarjot and Jeevan from the Bhangra Showdown team. Welcome to the Tommy Sandhu podcast. Amarjot and Jeevan. I said your name proper Punjabi style. Amarjot, but Jeevan, I can't put no Punjabi twang on. Jeevana? Do you get Jeevana? Do you get called that?
No, not much. Not much.
What do you mean? No. What? Jeevana? How does your?
I get Javeen a lot.
Oh, Javeen.
I'm not surrounded by that many Punjabis.
Who calls you Javeen? It's like Avril Javeen. It feels like it's. That's what it should be. Thanks for coming on the podcast. How are you both? A to the J. I'm John first. Are you good? You good?
Oh, yeah, good. Thank you. Good, yeah.
Yes, so look at you. Oh, yes, very good thing. Yes, we're representing the. Well, because we're both presidents of the Punjabi Society. There must be a rule against being. You must have to be more Punjabi if you're in the Punjabi Society. You got to go, oh, balle, every time you meet each other or something like that. Is it not lots of balle balles and thigh slapping going on in the Punjabi Society?
There's not actually, surprisingly enough. I think there should be more, to be fair.
Yeah, good. There we go. We're going to get to that. Well, that's on there. Well, firstly, I want to point out why are we having this chat? Okay, because it's the Bhangra Showdown. The Bhangra Showdown is going down on the 13th of February, the day before Valentine's Day, so we can get all sweaty and hot the day before Valentine's Day, and then people will be getting sweaty and hot in a different way. No, I'm only kidding. But the idea is we've got this brilliant student event. Now, I wanted to get you onto the podcast and really just celebrate this event because I'm very proud. I'm very proud of not only you guys and the presidents before you and the dancers before you and the committee members before you, because I've been hosting this event, oh God, I think about 4 or 5 years now, probably in total, on or off. And I flipping love it. I love it so much from day one because I just saw young people in their 20s, 19, 18, 19, 20, busting their moves, busting their feet, busting themselves, competing in traditional Bhangra styles. And I saw the values of the event that wants to keep it true to what it is, all those things that go on, which we're going to talk about in a second. And I thought, this is wicked. And so much of culture is being diluted. How much of this event, as well as just being a big old jolly, is about, keeping the fire going, keeping the culture going, because you're proud of it, not because you should, not because, hey, they got, it's not about preaching. This is a celebration. Amarjot.
Yeah, most definitely. Even Jeevan and I, none of us are actually dancers, so we didn't get involved in this because we dance or anything. We didn't even know about Bhangra a lot. We didn't even know there was a show of this scale. So a lot of it for us is just about this culture, is about promoting it, keeping it going. Especially with COVID last year as well. This year was even more important to sort of get the show back, to make sure we can maintain that longevity of it, to make sure it keeps going, it doesn't stop. Because this is a big way that a lot of kids kind of almost reconnect with their culture as well. A lot of kids haven't done Bhangra before and things, but they come to uni and they learn it, which is just really nice for us to be able to put on for them.
Isn't that weird though, Jeevan? Then tell me what's going on there where someone's not learned Bhangra all their life with their own mums and dads and families and parties and things like that. But why does it click at university? What's going on there?
So I think we both did a dance thing in first year together. That's, I think, where we met each other. We did that. That was part of Indian society, not Punjabi society. And I think it was really just a fun way to meet friends. And I think it's the same with Bhangra. And as well, a lot of people do it for fitness, I think, in our uni, because it's so intense and it's so kind of physically straining. So everyone gets into it for that, but then they just start really enjoying it. And because it's like a community, but it's a competitive community. So everyone's pushing each other to do better. So, like they watch each other's videos on YouTube of all the past TBS performances, and they take their tips and they take them back to their captains. And they're like, how can I do better? How can I do better? And they get a really strong sense of accomplishment for it. So ourselves, we have a lot of friends that are on the teams or who went to the classes. We went to a couple of the classes as well. And it's very rewarding at the end of it. And I think a lot of people do come from places where there aren't as many Punjabi people. So they've come from places like Sheffield and, like different places around the UK where they've been in schools and colleges where they were surrounded by people that didn't resonate with their culture. And then they come to Imperial and they see that really strong Punjabi culture and they just want to delve into it and learn about it a bit more. And we focus so much on Bhangra in the Punjabi Society because TBS is our biggest show. It's the biggest show that Imperial runs. So I think it's one of the only ways that they can delve into their culture through us.
And actually, I should point that out, which is really amazing of Imperial and of the college, because you guys have always put it on. Imperial College have organised the event, but it is an event obviously for multiple universities and colleges as well. So you get your Astons, I'm going to get them all wrong now because off the top of my head. Aston, what's the one? Uxbridge Ways, Middlesex, that way. They take part. Who else takes part? King's College.
Yes,
Birmingham University, Nottingham, Manchester. We've had Leeds. Over the years, obviously, it's literally every major city and anywhere where there's a Punjabi society taking part, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But it's, again, I've got to say, and I'm going to just give credit where credit's due here. The Imperial team have put this on, but they always take a little bit of a humble back seat themselves, and they kind of go, "No, yes, we're putting it on. Yes, we're central, and yeah, you might have me taking part, but it's done." What's the word? Quite independently and quite what's the word? Like in fairness, balance. It's well balanced. There's judges. There's separate to it. So it's not about we're putting it on and it's very much we're the platform. You put it on, and it's a lot of work. God sake, how much work goes into putting on an event like this?
More than we thought.
Yeah,
way more than we thought. Yeah, like you said. So the Imperial dance team and like our organising committee are very separate sort of entities. It's just we keep it very separate, again, in just like for the sake of fairness and things like that, which is something like we take very importantly. We want to make sure there's no sort of nowhere for anyone to complain afterwards. But yeah, it's a lot of work, more than we realized. It is just mainly Jeevan and I, but then our committee as well, which is really useful. So we all get involved. We have to learn to like really delegate things to each other, and we had to learn to pick up a lot of skills, to be fair. That we didn't have before, communicating with so many people. Yeah, it is a lot of work, but we're getting through it.
I love it. But okay, so I was president of my students' union after I did my degree back in the day in Bournemouth. Again, like I was one of 12 brown people in the whole university, and there's 12,000 students here, which I kind of liked because when you come from East London and everyone's brown, you're like, oh, okay, I'm a novelty. All right, this is quite nice. It's a little treat. But I love that. And then to become president was great because you're then representing students. And you do, like you said, you pick up so many skills. And university is about that. And people who are right now maybe 17, about to go to university, picking their options. And my nephew's doing it, and he's about to go away. This is another reason I wanted to have this chat, because this is what comes from university. What are you studying, Amarjot? What are you doing at the moment?
I do mechanical engineering.
Right, and Jeevan?
Medicine.
Blood, like these are proper degrees. Yeah, like, and this is what was amazing. The first year I did it, I was at the side of the stage, and there was a girl there who was working the faders for the lighting, right? Wherever we were, I can't remember what the venue was that year. And I said, "Oh, so are you into theatre and lighting? And is that what you want to do?" And she's like, "No, I'm doing biochemistry." I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, there's me thinking, "Are you going to be all right working the lights?" Like, I'm going to be a biochemist. I'm going to save lives, right? This is. And I went, "So how does all this come?" And she goes, "Just for fun. I just love the music. I want to be a part of the event. I can't really dance, but I'm happy to control it." And I'm like, that's what uni does, and it opens up those kind of doors, and that's what societies do and clubs do when people have societies for all sorts. So I just feel, look, sorry, I'm getting all excited because I get so proud of you lot. And I really am. And I said this to you, Jeevan, when I said, oh, I'm so glad I've been asked to do the event again, because I'm just there. I feel like just a proud uncle. I feel like a proud big brother. I love my music. I love my culture. I also think you get into Punjabi culture, or you get into your music, historically, as you get a bit older, because I think when you're younger, you're trying to conform. And again, I want to touch on this a little bit with you guys. You know, being British Asians, I come from a generation older than you guys, where your Asianness is still very much more kind of part of your life because of our parents, the way our parents speak. But your parents will speak like me. Do you know what I mean? So my mum worked on a sewing machine. I very much doubt your mums do. You know, they got, I don't say normal jobs, but you know what I mean? They got Western jobs. They go to an office, you know, but that's amazing. But I'm saying things have moved on and things have changed, but yet you've still got this attachment to your culture. And I guess it's that bit that makes me proud. Where do you think that comes from, Amarjot? Do you think is that just you guys? Is that a minority? I mean, is that, you know, of British Asians that you feel this attachment, or is that a Punjabi thing?
I think it is a Punjabi thing. I think it is something that's sort of ingrained in us, because like you said, in a way, like modern generation kids, we like speak Punjabi less, and people might think we're deviating from the culture in a way. And obviously, like, uncles and aunties get angry when you don't speak Punjabi and things like that. But I think when I came to uni, when I saw this show, it shows that like kids find their culture in their own way, where they might not speak Punjabi, they might not do those, you know, things that uncles and aunties expect, but they are, you know, putting on these shows, getting involved in the music and the dance. And I think it's just something that's in us, and I think it's something that kids are proud of, to have something that's a little bit different about them, something that's sort of special to them and something they can do.
Yeah, I agree. And so even though you're not a dancer, Jeevan, are you sort of well immersed in the music now, or is this more like no, I want to run this as an event, I want to do this for the event side of it, or are you now like loving the music and the scene as well?
Yeah, so I personally, I'm like third generation growing up in the UK, so I'm
Right.
really far from the culture. And when I came to university was when I was first introduced. I was more kind of around the religious culture rather than the Punjabi culture my whole life. So coming to uni, I was like, it was a big shock, and it was so enjoyable as well. So I kind of delved right into it. And I think now I definitely do listen to a lot of more of the music. I do watch the videos, like the TBS videos from past years, for fun. I was even thinking about maybe participating in the show next year if I was able to, like things like that. So yeah, I think I'd like it for the culture, but also it's helped us develop so much as people. Like my mum said it herself. She was like, I hear you on phone calls with people and I'm just shocked that you're you, because I'm like the youngest child. She's like, I'm just shocked that it's you that's speaking. And it's like being able to run the event as well as get to know the culture and get to know the people within the culture. You meet so many different people, so many different characters, and they really follow trends through. It's fun to like learn a little bit more about it and be at the center of it, because I feel like that's how you get pushed so into it that you really have to absorb everything, like the music because we take in the mix, the dances because we have to like do the rehearsals and stuff, you know, that kind of thing.
I want to ask you this then, just because you said you're third generation, it's something that came to my mind. The battle, the struggle in your head, particularly for me as a broadcaster, someone I'm placed into TV shows, radio shows, or whatever it will be over my career, as the Asian guy, or the even now it might be the dad, or the something else. You know, people want to place you accordingly. And when people ask me, where are you from, I still have to say, what you mean? And I'm absolutely fine with that question. Like, why am I brown? Or where am I from? Roots, history, or East London? Why is my accent like this? It's still a question that I don't know the answer to. It's still a question I don't know what to say. What do you say when you get asked, oh, so where are you from? Amarjot. Oh, Amarjot, where are you from? What would you say?
So I'd say Northampton.
Fine.
Initially.
And that feels natural and normal, and you don't feel that needs to come with a justification of any kind.
At somewhere like Northampton, it would have felt different. Actually, again, there wasn't very like many Punjabi people at my school. There wasn't even very many Indian people like at my school. But I think, especially coming to uni, there's so many more. It's so much more normal. So I can say Northampton, and it doesn't feel weird because everyone else is from different backgrounds too, if that makes sense. It's not just me. So it's much more normalized here at uni, like you said. Yeah.
Okay. And Jeevan, would you say the same? Okay, let's say if you met someone abroad, right? You're on holiday and they go, oh, Jeevan, that's a nice name. Where are you from? What would you say?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it really depends on who it is in the context. Like on holiday, if someone was like, where are you from? I'd say I was from London. But then if they said like, that's a nice name, where are you from? I'd probably say I'm Indian. And then if it's an older person that I've met and they say, where are you from? I get the vibe that they're asking, where are you like originally from? So I say Indian, but it's a really weird question. I'm always just like, I just pick one. And then if they want the other answer, I just say the other answer as well.
Are you offended at the question? Are you troubled by the question? Do you feel like why are you even asking? Why does it matter? Because again, the reason I'm saying that is, and just why you think about how it makes you feel. When I was in, where was I? I think I was in Canada, and I said to the driver just heard his name, and he was a Desi looking guy. So I didn't know, can't even remember now whether he was Pakistani, Indian, or somewhere else in South Asian country. But I said, "Oh, where are you from?" And he goes, "What is it with you English people, man?" All right. And I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "You're obsessed with where people are from." He goes, "It's only the Brits. Only you Brits ask where you're from." And I was like, you're like, I was just making conversation. I just wanted to make a little connection, maybe speaking a bit of Basma Urdu, Basma Hindi, Basma Punjabi, whatever. That's all it was. But he didn't like it. So I wonder whether it's an irrelevant question now. I think maybe as a species, as a race, as humans, we need to stop asking where people are from, because as the world moves on, and like you said, you're third generation British, now.
Yeah.
So, that's, it's so far removed. You're not Indian, Jeevan. You're not Indian. You might have Indian heritage, but you're not. No, and neither were your parents.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't find it offensive. I think I've heard, when people kind of like, oh, you look like you're from here, and I've heard so many different ones for myself. Because I think Punjabis have a little bit of an ambiguous look to them sometimes, like Turkish or Afghan or Indian.
Arabic.
Like, you hear all of them. So I'm like, fair enough that they ask, because they really don't know. But then also I do think kind of like sometimes it's a bit irrelevant to the conversation. But I personally don't think into it too much. I'm kind of just like, it's just a conversation. I'm just like, yeah, fair enough. You want to know, It doesn't offend me to say I'm proud of where I'm from, both where I grew up and my heritage. So it doesn't offend me at all. It's, if they react a different way towards it, then that would offend me. Telling them where I'm from doesn't offend me.
Good. Okay, good. I just want to get the cultural bits out the way. Let's focus on the event. And I'm just curious, because I think you guys are like, you're significantly younger than me, but also it's another world for you guys. I'm genuinely fascinated by it. I love it. I love our music, and I wouldn't want people to feel the need to carry on the culture. I want to be like, no, man, Atumbi sounds amazing. Adol is fantastic, and when it comes together, there's something about Bolia and lyrics, and now the hip hop influence and the size of Bhangra and the production of it, the music scenes progressed. I know from working with labels, I've worked with Sony Music India for years, that it's an exciting time for Punjabi music, and they are leading the way. My dad very proudly always says the big dance numbers in any film are always Punjabi numbers. Have you noticed that? No, he's flying the flag. So it's great. Our music is great. It's like salsa or samba. It gives people a feeling. It kind of evokes something, and I think people who aren't Punjabi or aren't even Indian will absolutely get that. So let's get on to the event. 13th of February, it's going down. How many universities taking part, Amarjot, and what's the format?
So we've got 6 universities this time competing. We've got Aston, Leicester, King's, Queen's, St. George's, and Imperial. I tried really hard to remember those. I'm not gonna lie.
Well done.
So thank you. 6 universities, and we've got 3 acts as well coming up. 3. We tried to go for like very big kind of legendary acts this time for our like comeback, just to really keep that hype going, to like bring it back with a bang. And yeah, that's it. 6 teams, and then we'll see who the better one is.
Tell them who the acts are, Jeevan. Tell them who the acts are.
So we have Lember performing, we have Sukshinda Shinda performing, and we have Miss Pooja performing. I know you had Shinda on the show last week, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have the 3 of them performing. I think Amarjot knows Lember and Shinda personally. And we're all excited to see them.
How does that connection come about? What do you mean you know them personally? What are you mates? You hanging out with the
No, not me. They're just friends of my dad's. Yeah, that's all really. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, again, Jeevan doesn't listen to too much Punjabi music. To be fair,
But I'm a big fan of Miss Pooja.
Yeah, but she's a big
You've
fan
got to
of
love
Min
a good female performer in the industry.
Exactly. That was her choice completely. But yeah, we're just really have everyone.
And on that note, all three of those people have been actually, if you look at those artists, you look at Lembert, and what he did with even Mundi at the Bachgarahi, game changer song. What Shinda's done across so many tracks, even fusing garage and jungle and R&B and hip hop into music. He was doing that, 15, 20 years ago, so he's legendary. What Miss Pooja did just for female representation in the music scene. And when she ignited that in 2006, 7, I think it was, when all, the kind of CT Marque and all that came out, that was so fresh sounding, and it just brought back this authenticity to it. So you're right. You've gone with 3 biggies. And that is I don't know. Do you ever take a moment to think you're putting on a world-class kind of gig here? And I've said it to everyone. I said, this gig is amazing because the crowd are amazing. The roars between performances. It's honestly, I've done many a stage. I've done concerts. I've done Rahat. I've done Shah Rukh Khan. I've done, we've done them all over the years at the O2, at the, Wembleys. We've done them all. And there is a roar from the Bhangra Showdown that is like no other. I don't know. So I'm selling the gig back to you. You're like, yes, we know. We organize it. Yeah. What's he trying to do? Well, my point is, it's such a big gig. It's so exciting. It's great. Anyone can buy a ticket for this, right? Anyone can just kind of come on down and just watch the show. It doesn't have to be students only.
Yeah. So the way tickets work is anyone can buy a ticket. If you buy tickets in groups bigger than 8, we know everyone has quite a big family. You get discounted tickets. And we also have an after party as well. Like you were saying earlier with the whole like dole playing and actual enjoyment, like we're going to have dole players at the club because we actually enjoy the music, and we have Punjabi DJs at the club because we actually enjoy the music. We don't want it to just be like an add-on event. So that I'd say is more targeted towards students. But again, the tickets are open towards anyone over 18. And that's really close by. So yeah, they're all available through the Troxy website because that's where it is. And yeah, anyone can buy a ticket. My nanny's really excited. Our whole families are so excited. Yeah, we told them before anyone else, of course, and they got really excited about it.
Yeah, and actually on that, something I didn't touch on. You said, I don't know why you mentioned your nanny made me think of this. I was thinking, because I was thinking, who are the judges? But it's not your nanny. Your nanny's not one of the judges, is she?
No. No.
So obviously, each of the 6 universities perform. How many minutes each do they do? What is it? What's this? A time limit on that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about roughly 8 minutes. Like
8 minutes.
7:45 is their mix. Yeah. So
right.
Roughly 8 minutes for each team. Yeah.
And by the way, you always get some that do like proper mixed up, like, big hip hoppy beats and the dole and the dumbi and all that. And you get some that will just come out with quite bolly classic, sorry, I'm doing my dumbi. I'm air dumbying. I don't know if that's a thing. Air dumby, like air guitar. That could be a thing, isn't it? So I'm air dumbying. So you get some that just come out with real simple, traditional instruments, and that, can I just say, from my history of being a part of the event, that always goes down well with the judges. They go, oh, we like the authenticity. And there's been things that I remember in the past, I hope I'm not causing any hoo-ha by saying this, where like someone's like bug fell off, or there's something fell off, and just to get it out of the way they kicked it, and the judges didn't like that. So things like that, like staying true to values, having respect for what the dance means. These are things. There's a lot to this event. It's not just like, oh yes, their shoulders move in a wonderful 360 style and fashion. There's more to this. It's culture. It's what it represents. It's what it stands for. It's values. So I love it. I love it, and I'm sold. What I was going to, who's judging? Who's judging the event?
Ooh, this is a question for me, I think. I don't know if we tell everyone who's judging the event.
You don't. I don't need specific names, but what I'm trying to get to, there is a judging panel, though, right?
Yeah. So there's a judging panel. They're kind of external people, but they're very integrated within the community. A lot of them are ex-dancers, or they dance for the professional teams, the external teams, like the AJ boys or the Vista, I don't know if they're boys or mixed, Vista Punjabis. So they're all from like kind of professional teams, or they've danced before in the show. And the way it works is that every year we have judges, and then we have shadow judges, and then usually the next year the shadow judges move up into being judges. So we always have like a new fresh panel where we have some new and some old judges, some that are very experienced, some that are learning the ropes, and then we constantly have a cycle of them, which is really nice. And the teams get an input into kind of who they think would be fair, and like our whole job is just to make sure that it's a fair panel and that all of the teams are going to have a very fair shot at winning, and no one's going to be too biased towards like a team because like, oh, I went to Leicester before, so I'm going to pick Leicester, or I went to Imperial before, so I'm going to pick Imperial. Like, we don't want it to be like that, and we speak to all the judges personally, and they're great. They're really lovely people. So yeah, it's 5 judges.
And I'll say this as well: the crowd play a part. So the roars play a part, you know, and people will react to the music and the effect, and so that I can see that, you know, adds to the atmosphere, and that adds to the kind of the dancers' mojo as well, and how they're feeling when they're on the stage. Listen, it's a great event. Thank you for letting me be a part of it again. Can't wait. Literally, it's a highlight of the next few weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, when you think you got that little marker, it's like when you got a wedding coming up, or you're going on holiday, you're like, you know, the 13th of February is ingrained in my kind of mental calendar. So 13th of February, tickets available via the Troxy website. Don't turn up to the after party if you're an uncle like me. Go home, go and have a nice meal, leave it to the kids. But if you're an 18-year-old, or even if you want to just go party with some, you know, these guys, go to the after party. But Troxy is the website. Troxy, Troxy is the name of the venue. So if you find the Troxy website, 13th of February, the Bhangra Showdown, I promise you, I wouldn't get you on the podcast if I didn't love the event. And I'm so proud of you guys putting it on. I know it's hard work, but I really think it's so valued. And when it all comes together, and it just about always comes together because you're just running around like a mad person the whole event, and you think it's all going to collapse. But don't worry, you've got a fantastic host who will hold it all together. I'm there. Don't worry, I'll be the glue throughout the madness of it all. And good luck. Good luck to all those universities mentioned. Good luck to you two. And I'll see you on the night. I'll see you on the 13th of February.
Thank you so much for coming and hosting. We're looking forward to having you. We're looking forward to the show as well.
Cheers. Thank you for having us as well. Thank you.
Cheers, guys. I heard, genuinely, this is just as a fact, I heard that if you hit subscribe to this podcast now, if you have subscribed on Apple or on Spotify or on JioSaavn or wherever you are listening right now, if you are subscribing and getting that on a regular, which means you get the little notification when the new episode comes out, fact, this is a fact. Don't tell no one else's. If you hit subscribe, you can eat as many jalebis as you want and you will never put on weight. I know. I don't understand the logic. It makes no sense to me. I mean, how's a podcast relate to the DNA way in which your body breaks down jalebi sugar stuff running through your... I don't understand, but what I do know, it's a little cheat to life. So if you like jalebis, then you should hit subscribe to this podcast. Oh, and follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow us. Eat jalebis. Be happy.